This fish had its eyeballs purposely deducted, but the blind man didn't know it. He complimented his wife on her cooking, but she smiled a grim smile. Although David was born blind, but his handsome appearance always attracted many women. That's why his massage parlor was always full of women. But this day, they suddenly told him, "Your wife is too ugly for you. The only way to restore your eyesight is to go to the temple and pray." David didn't care, but when he got back, he told his wife excitedly, but his wife became nervous. She knew she was ugly and her husband would hate her when he regained his sight. So every time, she would pick off the fish's glasses, trying to curse her husband's blindness in this way. The next day, David went to the temple to pray for a speedy recovery of his eyesight. After praying 100 times, he opened his eyes with great expectation. Except for the faint light he could feel, his vision was still very blurry. He had to go back to his massage parlor to continue working, but his neighbor told him, "I often see your wife at the temple." When he got home, the stone in David's hand accidentally fell to the ground. When he bent down to pick it up, his eyesight was miraculously restored. However, his long-term blindness made him temporarily unable to distinguish between beauty and ugliness. He even thought his wife was the best-looking person. Since regaining his sight, David's appetite was good, but he couldn't eat a fish with its eyes gouged out. He didn't understand why his wife did it. He went for a walk outside the house and saw a stone. He picked it up and took it back to his wife as a gift, but a neighbor saw him doing it. He advised David to buy some beautiful gifts for his wife. David bought a hairpin for his wife, but his wife said she only liked stones and wanted him to be like before. David was so angry that he threw out all the stones he had given her. Then the neighbor approached David again. He asked David what his wife looked like. David said his wife was very pretty, but the neighbor said his wife was very ugly, and that she married David because he was blind. Now that David had regained his sight, his wife was no longer good enough for him. David's heart changed subtly when he heard that. When he returned home, he looked closely in the mirror, and his wife soon noticed something unusual. The next day, David prepared to go to the temple to pray, but just as he came out, he met his neighbor Anna. Anna invited David to her home for dinner. Soon after, Anna cooked a delicious meal for him. David was quickly attracted to the food, but before he could finish eating, Anna suddenly expressed her love for him. But then her wife walked in. She pressed David down and snapped off his eyes. Soon, David suddenly woke up. The wife told him it was just a dream. David realized that his wife was lying, but to save his life, he chose to believe her. Satisfied, his wife looked at the dresser. The hairpin inside proved that it was not a dream at all. For the rest of the day, the woman went to the temple every day, but she prayed that David's eyes would never see again. She thought it was the only way David would always be there for her.